And when I think of the game behind me, I can't help but think of him.
The hell is that?
I was delighted to hear Andy give a shout out to one of the most iconic games of our time, Vib-Ribbon. Yeah, give it up for Vib-Ribbon. A personal favorite of mine.
What the hell is Vib-Ribbon?
Embodies the PlayStation spirit. It wasn't a multi-million seller, but that's not the point. Vib-Ribbon was unafraid to go against the tide. It was courageous in its ambition.
What are they talking about?
And it brought a completely new experience to gamers.
Oh my god. Before I get into Vib-Ribbon, I want to take this time to talk about how odd it was for Sony to name-drop Vib-Ribbon at their 2014 E3 presentation. Everything they showed this year was the exact opposite of Vib-Ribbon. Sony focused almost entirely on narrative-driven games like The Last of Us Remastered and The Order 1886. Hell, even Uncharted 4's sneak peek focused entirely on story rather than gameplay. It would have made much more sense if they had waxed on about games like Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, which arguably got them into taking narratively focused games seriously in the first place. But I guess they couldn't have done that, since it would have been a reminder that The Last Guardian is seemingly never coming out. I had no experience with this game until earlier today. I had no real idea what I was getting into. All I knew is that Vib-Ribbon was a rhythm game created by Masaya Matsuura, the man known for originally popularizing rhythm games with titles like Parappa the Rapper and Unjammer Lammy. Quirky, cute, and creative would be the three words I'd use to describe Mr. Matsuura's games, and Vib-Ribbon is no different in that respect. While Parappa and Lammy have you repeating beats similar to a game of Simon Says, Vib-Ribbon takes a very different approach to rhythm. Levels feel way more reactionary. You aren't repeating back the song, you're playing with it. Levels are composed of obstacles which have to be passed by hitting the right button at the right time. It is a rhythm game after all. One thing I found tricky is that on harder songs, obstacles combine to form new threats which require you to hit two different buttons at once. Other games have done this, but how it's done is very different than other games that I've played with the same concepts. The game doesn't tell you to press R2 and X at the same time. You have to know that since the loop is now spiky, that you have to combine the roll and the loop button together. The whole game keeps you on your toes. You really have to pay attention. There aren't a lot of songs to play through in Vib-Ribbon by itself. There are 3 difficulty runs with 6 songs in total. However, you can use CDs to play through new levels, and I have a feeling that this was the big feature of the game back in the day. I was actually under the impression that the only games that had this feature of importing data through CDs were the Monster Entry games. Luckily, Sony actually patched the PS3 just so you could have the full Vib-Ribbon experience and play tracks from the CDs. I have no idea how it would work if you're playing on the Vita, though. So, I gave it a whirl, and I got absolutely slammed. I'm not entirely sure about this, but I have a feeling the difficulty of the levels from the songs are actually based on how fast the song is. So of course, most of this music I listen to is really fast, so time to practice some more. I don't know if I agree with Sean Layden that Vib-Ribbon embodies the PlayStation spirit. I would have agreed that 14 years ago on its release, definitely. But 14 years later, it feels like games like these have become just a side note in the legacy that Sony is creating. After playing Vib-Ribbon for a while, I understood why Sony had spoke so fondly about this game at E3 this year. Vib-Ribbon was made in a special time where games were predominantly charming, quirky, and unique. Now, I'm not a rose-tinted nostalgia nerd saying quirky games don't exist anymore, but 14 years later at E3, you could tell that Sony felt that quirky games were a distant but fond memory.